him from the yard.
This is Don the Diecast Pirate. Today I have for you something a little bit different. I got a air tank to add on to my air compressor, and I figured I would do a little bit of a thing here showing how I attach it to the compressor, but I wanted to start with something that I should have realized a long time ago, because I've worked with air compressors in the past and I know that air compressors need a tank to hold compression in. Otherwise the pressure drops off. I've had an issue with spraying stuff for really ever since I started using this compressor with the Airbrush, and I should have thought of this. So what happens is, I just have water in here right now, and see what happens. So you see how the pressure is cutting out, right? The spray is dropping off. So let's go ahead and I'll get this off the table, pull this out of the box, and see what all it has with it and what we have to do to attach it to this compressor. Okay, so in the box we have the tank, which has places for the feet to go on the bottom, and then what looks like where the compressor itself will mount to the top is up here, and then it has 1, 2, 3, 4 holes in it, and the one on the bottom would be for like relieving moisture from the tank. And it sounds like there's something rattling around in there. Yep, there's some shavings and stuff. So I'm gonna shake this around a little bit, see if I can get all this out of here. The other thing that it had is this bag of goodies. And the one thing that I'm seeing that is decidedly lacking in this whole thing is instructions. So I may have to go online and look at some pictures to see what's going on. I see, all kinds of things in here. We'll pull this stuff out and take a look at it in a second here. Okay, so in this bag we had this thing, which I think is some kind of pressure sensor. I see there's one attached to the compressor already. I don't know. I said I'll have to look at pictures and see if this is used on the tank and connects to anything, or what goes on with that. We have a roll of Teflon tape for sealing joints. We have 4 feet to put on the bottom of the tank itself. This looks like pressure relief. If pressure gets too high, this would be the relief valve. More than likely it would go into the, I'm not sure exactly where this would go. It might go right there. We have 2 elbows. We have this elbow here. We also have this one. We have this thing, which I'm not sure exactly what that is. It doesn't look like anything screws into it. It has threads on it, and it has an O-ring on the bottom and a hole drilled through the bottom of there. We have these 2 fittings. There's that one and this one. We have this hard line, and then we have 4 of these screws and 4 of these nuts, which would be used for attaching the compressor itself to the tank. And what I'm going to have to go look at pictures on is to see the orientation of how this tank goes, or the compressor goes on the tank. What it may be, what I'm kind of thinking is whichever end the air goes into from the compressor is going to come out the other end on the tank, and I need to figure out that orientation. So we'll come back when I either figure that out, get some stuff done. I don't know if I pointed out this hose here is a rubber hose with, it looks like nothing to attach it with. So I'm not sure what that's for. So let me see if I can look at some pictures and figure this out. Okay, so I figured I'd come back right now and kind of show you where I am with this thing. So I got the rubber feet mounted to the bottom of the tank. I have the compressor attached, but all these screws are loose still until we get this in here, how that's gonna go. And I didn't check to see, this should screw right into here. Yeah, that feels like it's gonna go. Yeah. So this is going to go like this. I'm not going to do this on camera, but pretty much this will have to be attached to the compressor, and this will have to be attached to the tank, and then set this down into place and start screwing this on, and then put these screws in, it looks like. Now on the other end, I ran into a little bit of a situation, so I'm going to have to go to the store tomorrow and get a fitting that I don't have. And that is for the output here. I have my pressure valve, and I ended up having to use my vise strips on this and take it out to the garage and put it in my big vise, because they put pipe dope on there, and that really solidified. It was very hard to get this to turn, because this is basically the same as this. So this will screw into here, and it'll screw into here, but these things don't go together, and this won't go into there. And why am I feeling a magnetic? Huh. Interesting. But at any rate, I did take the pressure valve off of this while I was manipulating this, because I didn't want to break it. So we'll put this on back on afterwards. Once I get the correct fitting that I need, this will go on here. The pressure valve on the side, and that'll be our output. So I think at this point it's getting kind of late tonight. I'm going to put this together as much as I can, but I'm going to have to wait to finish it for the piece I need. Alright, I figured I'd come back to show you this. I put the Teflon tape on the threads on both of these. Hopefully it's not going to leak. If it does, not that big a deal. Just have to take it apart and reseal it. I have the two nuts on the back side out to the ends of the screws. I took the two nuts off on the front side. And then we're just going to lift this up and put it right in there. Hopefully without any major issues. Does not want to line up the way it needs to. Looks like it's offset just a little bit. Now, I may see if we can give this a little bit of, it won't fit. That's not what I meant to say. So, what I need it to do is have a little bit of a bend, and this is so thick. Stain, I don't think it's, not sure what this is made of. It might be stainless. These ends have 2 O-rings on them, which I just folded one over the other, which that shouldn't be. So I don't want to push against this either. I'm not sure what's behind that plate. It may be important to have that on and sealed. I have to think about this. So I bent this out, but it needs to go that way. I'll be back. Okay, so I've gotten as far as I can with this for right now, and get that fitting. It's all going to be good. I have it pressured up right now. I went ahead and connected this fitting to here and connected my air hose so I can leak test it, make sure all the connections are good and nothing is leaking. And the only leak that I had was right here. I ended up taking this fitting back out and putting some Teflon tape on it, and that sealed up nicely, which I'm going to take it back apart, but at least this way I know that nothing else is leaking, which is the purpose of the pressure test. Huh. I guess it was aired down for the moment. Let's pump it up. See how long this takes. So there it goes. So it's the same. I was just looking at this, the pressure valve on there, the pressure switch. So it's on at 3 kilograms and it's off at 45 or 4 kilograms. And I don't know if that's, it would be like PSI. I don't know what that compares to in, PSI, which is US stuff. The other interesting thing is, like, I'm using I tried using standard and metric wrenches on these fittings. The metric fit more closely, but it's still a little bit loose. But when I had to take this fitting out of here, like I said, I had to put my vice grips on there because when I was using the closest size metric wrench, it was actually starting to round off the corners. I was like, well, I'll give it one more shot, and I put the vice grips on there and took it back out to the vise and clamped this in the vise, and it just started going slowly, and it almost felt like it was going to break, but I was like, well, if it breaks, I'll have to get a new valve, you know, but it didn't. So all right, well, I'm done with this for tonight. As you can see now, there's no leaks, which is good, and I'm happy with this. So I'm going to put this away, and then once I get the new fitting and everything, then we'll come back and we'll do another spray test with the water and see how it goes. Just cleaned off the workbench so I can get some other stuff done, but I just wanted to mention that if you're going to do something like this, you may want to consider not doing it on a night that you need to paint something. Just saying, it might set you back a step. I don't need to paint anything tonight, so that's why I went ahead and did it. If I had to paint something tonight, I would have started the project another day. Also, I want to give a shout out to my buddy Diecast Graveyard. He mentioned the need of an air tank connected to your compressor on Facebook, and I should have known, right? And because he said that, I'm like, duh, I need that. So that's why I went ahead and bought it. So, all right. Again, we'll come back after I have the new fitting, have everything set up, and then we'll show the spray out on it. Okay, so I took this with me today and went to Lowe's and found this thing. It's a 1/4 inch by 1.5 inch nipple, and this should be what we need to screw into here and here. Okay, so it's screwing into this one very easily, and it's kind of tight in here, but that's probably to be expected because of that thread locker they had on there. So I get everything wrapped in Teflon tape, and then we'll come back. Alright, let's fire this thing up and see if we have no leaks. Okay, so I am hearing nothing. Alright, so let's set this right around 20 psi, which is what I normally set it on for, like the Spectraflame paints. Alright, and then get our paint jar with the water still in it. Okay, and now let's see what we get on a spray out. And see what happens. So you see how the pressure is cutting out, right? The spray is dropping off. So I'm getting more consistent. I'm getting more consistent air pressure, but I'm still getting the intermittent. Okay. Well, we'll see how it does when I paint the next car. So, all right, that should about wrap it up. And I will go back and show the before, which you'll see by this time. So, yeah. Again, I want to thank Diecast Graveyard for mentioning the need of an air tank on Facebook. And again, I should have thought of that. But I am happy to have this now, and it's up and running. And really, it only took me probably an hour overall, maybe that, and only because, let me turn this around here and I'll show you. I had to fight this tube to get it bent to fit. Other than that, I mean, it was pretty much straightforward. And even though it didn't come with any directions, I mean, if you're just starting out and you can't afford the whole setup, then you can get this compressor without the tank on it for a lot less. This is the model number TC-20. It's equivalent to the Master Airbrush brand. I mean, if you look on Amazon, I think they're all pretty much made in probably the same factory, the same castings. That's something I was going to mention on this too, is the reason, like, this pipe was straight instead of fighting it. There's probably a couple other things that I thought about looking at doing, but I didn't want to. Enough. I didn't want to mess with these mounting points on the tank because these are welded to the tank, so I didn't want to mess with that and possibly break a weld, put a hole in the tank, and I didn't want to drill these holes to make more room to move this over. I think bending this tube to fit was the best option. I mean, now, if for some reason this compressor fails, now I can just get another compressor and it'll bolt right up to this. So, yeah, I'm happy with it. Do I wish I would have known about this to begin with? Yeah. Would I have made that big of a purchase to start with? Probably not. I probably still would have went with this one to start with, just to learn airbrush, because before I started I had only airbrushed one like plastic model car back in the early 90s. So yeah. So watch my video this Friday, celebrating Old Man Diecast 1-year anniversary on his YouTube channel, which at the time of this recording is today, and we're restoring a heavy Chevy to celebrate his 1-year anniversary of his YouTube channel. And so that's going to be super exciting. Got some other stuff coming up, and be sure to check out the Diecast International Builders. We got the builds coming up the 5th of every month. This month is, in February, is Rat Rods, and we have February 14th is the Love Boat build. March is Mercedes, April is Autism Awareness, and May is the pickup trucks. So we hope you'll join us for those. Coming up towards the end of the year, October and December, we're going to have additional builds towards the end of the month, as well as our monthly builds, so keep that in mind. Obviously, those will be holiday themed. And I will be making an official announcement, and I'll just say it here, because I've kind of made mention of it, in November, which is Alzheimer's Awareness Month. I'm asking people to build a car for that on release of videos on November 11th. If you don't make videos, but you build cars, you're more than welcome to join. I'm just asking that the people that do join in with that either give the car to somebody or sell it and donate the funds to charity, a charity of your choice, because and the reason I'm doing this is because of my dad. He had Alzheimer's, and fortunately the last time that I saw him, he did know me, and I'm thankful for that. But yeah, so look for the announcement video for that in September. I'm not going to mention it in every video, but I'm planning on releasing that video in September. So it'll give you a couple months to pick a car, pick something that's special to you, something that means something to you, or somebody who has been affected by this illness. And yeah. Sorry, I'm rambling on long enough. Thanks for watching, guys. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We've over 500 subscribers, pushing to 600. Let's get to 1,000. All right, that's the next goal. Let's get to 1,000. Not planning on doing any major big giveaways like I did in the past, where I'm giving away 10 prizes and all that. It's too much. Because when I do those drawings, and then now I have to get 10 things boxed up and ship out and still maintain my videos, it's just too much. And I'm going to do something special. I'm not sure what it's going to be. And we'll have maybe some other things to announce at that time too. So go ahead, share the channel. Follow me on Instagram and check me out over there. you know, love to see what other people are doing with the cars and everything. So yeah, I'm really excited and about where this is going and everything. So, like I said, if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. Leave a comment down below. Click that like button and ring that bell for notifications. As always, this is Don, the Diecast Pirate, and I will see you next time. Higher pressure. Yeah.